Hi, this is Ken, and today we're going to be looking at ways that you can import your own tutorial into the template project. Generally, we recommend that you open up the template and begin your project there for reasons we'll get into later. Now you've got the template content over here, and you have your tutorial content here. This is where we get into a game of Tetris where we sort of move these tracks around and we're sort of shaping them to fit like the Horn of Africa into that. That's what we're going to be fitting together here, a Tetris style. So that's the audio narration with the little music symbols there, and it looks like we're needing to get that down here. Now ideally it'd be fun to just drop that down there, that'd be a piece of cake, but then you lose your sync with all of your Camtasia screen captures here, so we can't do that. So I'm going to undo. And what we're going to do is move these around in a real careful way so that everything maintains its sync, so that everything's ready to be just dragged over here into this space around the template. Okay, the watermark is already in place. What we're going to do is drag this whole tutorial of yours up here so that the camera is where it needs to be. Now if you get confused about which layer is which, you can drag that out with the timeline magnifier, and you can come down here and you can see that these are Camtasia, right? And so notice that all of these different tracks or layers are labeled over here on the left side. We've got the bumpers on the bottom, narration above it, then the Camtasia, and also the title screen. We'll get to that in a minute. We've got some Camtasia here that are going to need to move to make space for that watermark. The captions are actually in the correct place, and then the narration here, the .wav files, we're going to drag those down here to the narration level. So this looks daunting, but trust me, it'll become second nature in a little bit here. So what we're going to do, we've got the audio up here and the callouts. What we want to do is we want to drag this whole layer of your tutorial audio down to the narration layer here without changing the sync. So I'll show you how to do that. So we're starting out right at the edge there of where that begins, and we're going to expand this timeline out so that we can see everything from start to finish in your tutorial. Let's drag that down now to the narration layer and let go. Now just to double check, we're gonna magnify this and we can see the timing is the same because we just moved it down along this timeline playhead. So now we're gonna expand this again. The captions are on the correct line. You can see the words over these clips here. The watermark, we need to make room for that, so we're going to, and this is where the magnification tool really comes in handy, because you can't get the playhead where you want it at that scale, but if you go in close here you can see that it's much easier. So set your playhead at the start of the first call out there. Select all of those, make sure you have them all selected all through your tutorial, and then we're going to drag these callouts up to the callouts layer. Success. And then we've got our title, our Camtasia here, narration on this track. We've got space here in the watermark, which is great. We've got our captions and our callouts. So now we're ready to play Tetris. So we'll go ahead and expand our timeline here so that we get a really big picture. We can make sure that we didn't miss any portions of our tutorial sequence over here. A sequence is just that block of media there that is highlighted in blue. We're about to combine your tutorial sequence with the template sequence, and it'll all become one sequence. This is the exciting part here. So select your tutorial sequence. Now we will expand this out a bit, and you can see how much further in your narration starts before your camera starts. And that's good because there's going to be a title that's going to go here. We also want to start your tutorial off with the narration. It's going to come in with the cloud sounds and the cloud visuals before your title screen. So this is perfect. Go ahead and grab that starting narration clip there, and we'll drag it since your whole sequence is highlighted. It's going to drag everything with it. And we'll just drag it all the way over as far to the left as we can. So we've hit a roadblock here because we want to get that whole sequence, including this first narration track, all the way over flush against this placeholder, and it will be showing up at the 8-second mark. But since we can't do that, we need to Control Z, undo what we just did. So now we're back over here. What we want to do is grab the top of that title, drag it over, then highlight it, then we'll drag your sequence over here and everything fits. So really, once you have that sequence highlighted, the only thing that matters is that first audio narration clip is flush up against this placeholder. So let's make sure that's the case. We'll expand it out and we see that there's not even one frame between the placeholder and that first narration track. So success. Now we'll expand this out a little bit. Come over here. Don't worry about captions at this point. You can fine-tune those later. Now this clip here is actually 2 text layers, and you can see up here that there's add your title here and by first name, senior technical writer. So both of these elements are customizable, and of course you're going to need a title and a name in place there to make a nice impression. So let's go to add your title here. It's going to be in the callouts tab, and we're just going to add a title in. So let's do that now. The title of Dee's tutorial is creating a custom object in Application Composer. So I'm going to type that out now. And if you want to double check it, you can drag this line down here and it's going to make the canvas a little bigger. So creating a custom object in Application Composer looks good. Now double click on rectangle 6 and we'll see the byline text. So we'll put your first name in here. In this case will be Denise. You may need to change the title depending on your title. So we're good. Now we have a title slide here that is using the appropriate fonts and font sizes. You can see that the byline here is all in Arial Narrow. The byline itself is 26 point and the job title line is 18, just to make it look nice. We go down to the title itself. We see that we're using the Helvetica New Standard Condensed font, and that's looking great. Okay, so click the minus sign to collapse that group, and let's play this for a minute and see how the transition is looking. So we're looking good. Okay, now we need to drag the right side of this title group over so it's flush with the clip that follows. So let's test this transition. Looks pretty good.